Okay, so my way too early 2020 mock is already messed up because of the Colts or Andrew Luck retiring. But I'm going to give it my best. First of all, I see the Bengals as getting the number one pick, and that's Tua. Tua is going to be the number one pick regardless. If someone has to trade for the number one spot, whoever needs a quarterback, they're taking Tua. So I give that to the Bengals. Uh, Dolphins, I have number two. I have them taking Jalen Hurts, who may win the Heisman Trophy at Oklahoma. It's just gonna Oklahoma's gonna change his game. They're quarterback kingmaker. So looking forward to seeing Jalen Hurts this year. Cardinals at number three. Their offensive line is just terrible. Best defensive lineman going into this college season is Andrew Thomas from Georgia. So they'll probably take him. I have Tampa Bay picking fourth. They'll probably take Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio. Wish the Giants could have him, but fingers crossed the Giants aren't picking that high. I don't think Tampa is going to give up on Jameis. Or if they are, the draft is so deep they could probably get one second, third round. I have the Redskins picking fifth because they're a bit of a dumpster fire. I have them taking that edge rusher from Iowa, AJ Epinesa. Um, Might as well. They're not going quarterback. Their offensive line is pretty good. Um, their defense has been good pretty much. They lost some players due to the dumpster fire, um, but I see them taking AJ. Raiders. I see them taking Judy because I think AJ Brown's not going to work out, and Judy's. I mean, he's the next dynamic wide receiver. He's worth the sixth pick. Seventh, I have the Lions. The Lions, I think, are at the point, just out of necessity and being practical, they have to kind of think about moving on from Stafford. Um, a lot of people are saying Justin Herbert is one of the top 10 quarterback. I don't see it yet. I'm going to be watching him. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a top quarterback prospect. LSU might win the championship, so they're actually my pick to win the championship. So I see Joe Burrow going very early in the draft. Eight, I have the Bills. Um, their defense is really good. Uh, Wide receivers are pretty good. I see them taking an offensive lineman. Probably Walker Little from Stanford is very highly rated at tackle. Um, I think you can't go wrong taking the best offensive lineman in the draft. Then I have the Jets. The Jets, I have them taking Tyler Badass, also known as Tyler Biadasz. Uh, he's the center from Wisconsin, and part of me is taking him, putting him there because I think Nick Mangold was such a big part of the Jets for so long. I see them taking a dynamic center, if there is such a thing as a dynamic center. It's Tyler Badass. At 10, I have the Vikings. I see them replenishing their secondary, taking the best corner they can. Probably CJ Henderson from the Gators. That could change. A lot of this is going to change, but I see them taking the best corner in the draft. Um, Xavier Rhodes getting a little banged up. He's kind of at the end of his tenure. At 11, I have the Panthers picking just because they have some injuries. I mean, I don't think they're going to finish the season too well. First round, Bryce Hall from Virginia corner. I mean, I value cornerbacks. Bryce Hall could have been drafted last year. Would have gone high. A lot of people say he's the best corner in college right now. So 12, 49ers. Um, I haven't taken Grant Delpit, who's maybe one of the highest regarded defensive players in college right now. Safety LSU. They can use it. 13, I have the Giants. And I'm kind of in love with this player, Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, because he reminds me of Landon Collins, hybrid safety linebacker. 14, I think the Titans will pick about 14. Christian Fulton, again, cornerbacks. I tend to rate very highly. LSU cornerback Christian Fulton. A lot of people say he's better than Greedy, and he could have come out in the draft last year. He probably would have been drafted ahead of Greedy. 15, I think the Falcons are going to pick about 15. They're still, well, based on last year, they had trouble stopping the run. Their defense was an issue, so I'll give them Derek Brown from Auburn. He's Quinnen Williams, Dexter Lawrence esque. He's a run stopper, so uh, it's another one you don't value until you can't stop the run and you can't get the ball back. So everyone needs a run stopper in the middle. 16, I'm thinking Broncos are going to pick about 16. And they value their linebackers. So I think the best linebacker right now, Dylan Moses from Alabama. Personally, I mean, past few years you can't go wrong with an Alabama linebacker. So try that out. 17, thinking Jaguars are going to pick about here. Leonard Fournette, it's not going to pan out. So I have them taking best running back will probably be Travis Etienne from Clemson. Uh, I really like Keyshawn Vaughn from Vandy. Another possibility for the Jags. I see them taking an offensive weapon while they have Nick Foles. I had Jeff Thomas from Miami pretty high, but Miami didn't look too good in that first game. I mean, their offensive line is trash, so I mean, I don't know what Jeff Thomas is going to do this year. Colin Johnson is another one from Texas, who's a playmaker. It's a big dude. I mean, he's the second coming of Calvin Johnson. I don't know if they're related. But 18, Texans. Give me a cornerback from Alabama. Trevon Diggs. That's Stephon Diggs' little brother. He's going to do some things. I mean, if you're starting corner at Alabama, you're pretty good. The Texans should probably step up their defense. With their running back situation, wouldn't surprise me if they went if a running there are some really good running backs that are going to come out. I mean that could happen. Seahawks, I have them picking next, and actually originally I had them taking Etienne. I think they're going to want. I don't know. I'm gonna have to rethink that because Chris Carson seems like he's gonna pan out, and I really like Rashard Penny. So maybe they don't go running back. So I'll get back to you on that. Um, those Gators, I was high on some. I was going to call him Samaji Perine, but Lamakal Perine, as his brother. Uh, I was high on him, but they Gators actually have another running back who looking like a truck out there. So Seahawks still might go. Nah, my next mock. Yeah, Seahawks are not taking a running back. They're probably good defense. But 20, I have Ravens. Ravens are pretty good. They're. I don't think they have any needs. You can't really go wrong. Like I said earlier, taking the best offensive lineman you can. Calvin Throckmorton from the Oregon. It's probably up there. I'm going to keep an eye on him. Early mocks have him as a second, third round grade, but I'm pretty high on Throckmorton. Just because I've been watching Justin Herbert, so I'm still going to watch him. 21, I have the Rams. Rams going to have to replace Gurley long term, and I'm big on Keyshawn Vaughn going there because I think he can handle the workload. Uh, wouldn't surprise me if they went for one of those dynamic wide receivers. I mean, or I mean, their offensive line is one of the best in football, I think, and their defense is fantastic. I don't know what else they could really need other than depth or a dynamic playmaker, which I think. Uh, so it could be one of those wide receivers or a dynamic running back. 22, I have the Cowboys. Speaking of which, I kind of had the same feeling that they could use a dynamic playmaker at receiver. Um, the Chenault from Colorado, Rondell Moore from Purdue is I'm personally really high on. Hmm. And of course, there's T. Higgins. But yeah, they really need someone who, once he gets the ball in his hands, can make things happen. I'll get back to the Cowboys. 23, I have the Packers. And I feel the same way that they're going to need a dynamic playmaker on offense. Could be a CD Lamb, Tylan Wallace from K-State, Oklahoma State. Yeah, gonna look forward to watching him this season and see who's really once they get the ball in their hands, can they make things happen? Because that's what the Packers need. 24, I have the Chargers, and wow, I'm looks like I'm going for a lot of offensive playmakers because yeah, I originally had them Colin Johnson out of Texas. Chargers, they need, I think they need that type of wide receiver, guys like 6'6". Um, just hard to stop. And Jeff Thomas, I feel the same way about if you can get him the ball, like or even, they're the ones who catch the balls in tight windows and fight for the ball. So I like those guys. Colts. This is the one obviously that got screwed up. Originally had them taking the edge rusher, um, Kenny Willekes from Michigan State. Dynamic playmaker on defense, very aggressive. But now obviously they're going to have to take a quarterback. They got a lot to choose from. I would typically think they're going to draft someone like Andrew Luck. Could be Justin Herbert. Again, personally, I have Joe Burrow rated. I'd rather have him. You have Costello out of Stanford. That's the one who actually reminds me more of Andrew Luck. But Costello doesn't have some of his targets he had last year, so keep your eye on Costello. But yeah, they're probably going to have to go quarterback. I don't think they're going to tank this season. I don't think they can because their defense is too good. Their offensive line is maybe the best in football. Definitely blocking for the run. They're the best in football. So I don't think they can help but win games. They're not going to be able to pick in the top 10 if they trade up. After the Colts at 26, I have the Steelers. I see them upgrading their defense a little bit. There's a safety in Georgia, J.R. Reed, who's got to go in the first round. So I can see the Steelers taking him. They already have a couple of options to replace Ben Roethlisberger. So I don't see them drafting. The Bears at 27. There's a really good defensive tackle in Washington. Kid Levi, something last name I can't pronounce, but it's one of those picks you can't go wrong. I think interior lineman. The Browns I'm very high on this year, so I see them picking pretty late at 28. One thing I could see them doing is replacing Kevin Zeitler at guard, the best guard. According to the experts. I haven't seen him play too much, but Solomon Kindly from Georgia. I'm going to watch Georgia anyway, so I'm going to keep my eye on him at right guard. 29, the Saints. Why not Shaheem Carter from Alabama? Saints defense, I don't know, a little suspect. So you might as well. Eagles, they're unfortunately going to do very well this year, so I see them picking later. Wisconsin has a very good offensive lineman. So there's a Cole Van Lanen. I'm going to keep an eye on Wisconsin this year just because they have like three offensive linemen that I think are going to come out. And I have them, all three of them, I think, going, or at least two of them in this first round, in this first mock. Patriots at 31. Michael Divinity Jr., edge rusher, LSU. Yeah, I watch a lot of LSU. Michael Divinity Jr. Is going to be very good. Yeah, Patriots could use a player like that. KC, who obviously, according to this, I have winning the Super Bowl. Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle, Alabama. KC's defense, especially their run stopping, cost them the Super Bowl this year. So it's my early mock. I'm going to try and update it, keep it going throughout the year, so we have by draft time next year, we're going to have it on lock. So there we go.